I was just wondering how you're going to monetize breast milk. And I asked the question that I think everyone in Hong Kong asks Kobe at some point is, do you milk people?
I literally had the exact same dystopian view. I was like, are you aware that if you are ultra successful, this ends with women in factories?
Yeah.
Yeah, so my first question to the group, less so Sarah, is what did you think of the idea? So I'm going to ask Zach first because obviously Sarah came to you with the idea. What did you first think? What was the first reaction?
Is my arm going to fall off? Because it was just put on my
because
arm.
It was testing on you.
Yeah, that's what I think. I was like, okay, it's a bit awkward, but sure. There you go. I guess if we're doing the non-PG, like it's all fluids, I guess we're really married now. What else did I think?
Hey mate, she's got enough fluid of yours. She's got 2
Well,
kids.
I wasn't going to say that. This is a PG conversation. Well, it went yellow. I'm just saying and this wasn't like tested. We didn't have the incredible stories of things that it had done and saved. I was literally the guinea pig. I mean, I could have grown a third shoulder for all we know. So like, and I've almost.
We'd be selling this for a lot more if that was the case.
I have also almost died of septicemia in my life, so I was like, "Oh, here we go again," from Hong Kong Harbor. So
really?
So I was just a bit worried about that at the time. I was I got that's what we think it was. I ended up in hospital for a few days and just pumped full of antibiotics, and then it all came right in the end. But the thing at the time was that I had 2 blisters on the back of my heels, and I used to teach wakeboarding out by literally next to the airport in Tung Chung, and I just never really bothered. I was like, she'll be right. And then that was the only wound on my body, and I got septicemia, so blood infection. So it was like that was what we kind of chalked it up to. But yeah, that was a vivid near death moment. But moving swiftly on, there was a miner's cut on my shoulder.
Okay. Quick recap is that when Sarah told you about this idea, you thought, I'm going to lose my arm?
No. She said, do you love me? And I was like, of course. And then she said, can I try this on you? And I was like, what is it? And then it was on my arm.
Didn't I tell you about the idea why I was doing it before I even tried it on you? I think
so, but I think we were in the middle.
Later.
Yeah, I mean, but we were in the middle of it. It's a great idea. Using breast milk isn't the human species wonderful? And then there we had a crack at it, and I was like, "Are you sure you should use this on open wounds?" And she was like, "Yeah, it should be fine. We'll see what happens." I was like, "Okay."
I mean,
anyway, it went yellow. It went yellow. And it was an early test run. And if it was just breast milk, we would have been sweet as. But at that time, I think it was a bunch of other stuff in there. So yeah. And I remember going, oh yeah, this is a bit strange. But we'll roll with it. She's listened to enough of my terrible rap music. This is the least I could do for her. So unfinished terrible rap music. It wasn't terrible once it was finished. But at that time, she's heard a lot of behind the scenes. So that was me trying to just pay it forward backwards.
Be supportive. So why did it go yellow?
I don't know. I'll let the chemist speak to that. I'm not qualified.
I don't remember it going yellow. I remember it going a bit red, and I was like, "Ooh, that's an infection."
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
He loses his arm. I was just trying to be supportive.
And that's how you met One Arm Zach.
The good thing is that I did work in a pharmacy, which meant that I could easily acquire
antibiotics.
Yeah.
I don't know if you would agree, but at the time, I trusted my drug dealer. I was young enough to have faith, right? So Sarah said, try it. I'm in health and medical, and I was like, I'm just a regular pleb, so I'll trust you on this health thing, and we'll see how we go. Needless to say, it was back on the Neosporin or the, what is it called here?
Savlon,
I forget what it's called here. Savlon, yeah. I was on the cream, yeah. And it was all good after that. But to be honest, if I could just finish that, it was a few weeks later. I actually asked to have it once she got it. She was getting I think she was gaining traction or keep trying stuff and trying it on herself. Like I had a watch rash, like a watch strap rash that wouldn't go away. And I was like, let's try it on that. So that was pretty cool. And I was really happy to finally get rid of it because I was just getting ready to bleach it, which is what I was raised doing. Bleach and hot water.
He forgets to say, but he's tried loads of things from the actual pharmacy before trying the cream. And those didn't work. Do you remember? You tried the antifungal.
Yeah.
Can't remember what else you tried. I think betadine. I think we tried betadine as well.
Yeah, iodine or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Iodine.
And none of those worked, but our cream did.
It was really cool. And I took photos every time. And yeah, it took about a week and then it was gone. It was amazing.
Because I had a rash on my wrist as well and did the same thing. Oh. It was gone within a couple of, maybe even an hour, I think, realistically. Unfortunately, I was testing something else that gave me the rash.
Yeah, it was.
So, it wasn't,
It was another one of my creations. Don't worry, Zach. I've moved on. You're no longer my guinea pig, Kobi is.
Now I am. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I have incredibly sensitive skin too. And so, I'm at that level of she can test on me. And if I have like the tiniest reaction, then we know we've got to go back to the drawing board, which I mean is kind of insane. I didn't know that I would be a guinea pig at some point. You were just saying then you were going to put bleach on it. Is that something normal in the US?
Oh, I don't know about the US, but I can speak to my grandfather was a Navy medic and, Kool-Aid on the boat for the brass and stuff like that. And yeah, bleach and water, as my dad puts it, kills everything and you can start again. And I had memories as a kid, like heat rash on the back of my knee and stuff like that, and wouldn't go away. And then bleach and hot water, it burns for a little bit. You wash it off till it's not slimy, and then you're sweet as, and it would just go away like nothing. It was great. Well, and then I learned later, and maybe Sarah would definitely know more than me on this one, but the four stages of healing, 3 of them is cleaning up, So bleach just gets you there real quick,
We laugh at all that, but it truly is actually sometimes a doctor recommended solution for eczema. If most things don't work, to do a bleach bath. It's like a really minute amount in a full bath, but it is. How much some doctors will rely on that sometimes. And it works.
I've heard of it.
I had about this much in this much water in a bowl. It's better if it's warm.
It sounds great. It sounds like
I'm still here.
Yes, but for how long? And I guess so. Sarah says to you, "I'm thinking of making this a real thing and making a product and putting it all together." And what are your thoughts on that?
Actually, it wasn't me. Zach was the one. I made the cream, and I was like, "Isn't this brilliant?" And then Zach said, "You need to make it so that other people can do it too." So actually, Zach, you're the reason why this thing's even a thing.
I don't need that kind of responsibility. Exactly. Thank you very much.
And yet we need someone to blame. So
look, here's that unison again.
And Connor, when I came to you and I said, I have met somebody that's made a product. I'm going to tell you what the product is, but you're just going to have to listen for a moment so I can explain it. What do you think?
I got to admit, it was, we're going to make things out of breast milk was not what I was expecting to hear when you started that conversation. And then I thought you were mad. So there's been at
least she wasn't mad at you.
Yeah, that's new and interesting. There's been a few fads over the years, but once you talked it through, I kind of came around.
Yeah.
And then there was like the evidence, and then eventually it turned into a big thing. But Kobi does really well running her own business, as in personally. So I was very supportive of starting and doing something. I think we'd already talked about that previously. Just wasn't expecting this to be what she chose, to be blunt.
Interesting choice.
I actually have a question because I don't think I ever asked you that, Kobi. But I know you were looking for businesses to invest in, and obviously Helen told you about mine. But were you were looking at any other businesses or anything like that?
I was.
And then you heard mine, and you were like, "This is the one.
This is the one." Yeah. No, I really was actually. So I started my own agency and I sold it, and I had a fair bit of cash from that. So I didn't want to go back to work. at a corporate place. So I started looking around, and Connor can attest to this. I'm not good when I'm not working. It's not a state that I do well in. I need a purpose. I need a thing that I'm doing. I need to feel useful and helpful and stuff. And I can tell you, motherhood has not made me feel that at all. So, I feel more useless than anything. But I was actually looking. So my first start off in terms of genuinely speaking to someone about their business was a refillable, funnily enough, cleaning product. So
the
you
eco products. I
buy,
remember them.
yeah. So you buy the glass bottle, and the cleaning product comes in a tablet, and you just buy the tablets and you go it on rotation and stuff. So I actually had reached out to someone. I was talking to them about it. It ended up souring because I ended up doing more consulting again. So I went back into individual consulting, which was kind of what I was doing before. And I was getting paid too well to do it. So I was like, maybe I don't try and do something on my own. But then...
Well, that one wasn't a partnership, was it? You were just going to buy that business.
Well, in the end, the way she heard me talk about it, she wanted to partner with me in the end instead of just selling it to me, which was really nice. But she couldn't give me enough detail about a bunch of stuff, and I was just like, I don't know, and I was very all sus and everything. But funnily enough, my consultancy gig went for about 2.5 years, and the business was in big trouble economically. So I knew I was kind of at the end of my tenure, and I think it was probably a month after I was not working at all that I spoke to Helen. So it kind of felt fatey a little bit.
It's meant to be.
So not desperate then.
Not desperate, yeah.
Did she come up to you, or did you tell her, like, I'm looking for something, do you know of anything?
We were at coffee, and I basically just said, again, it's just not my nature to not be working. So I was like, I'm really not loving not having anything. Consultancy was not fulfilling me in any sense of it. I've been doing it for 15 years. So, and Hong Kong, in terms of the marketing automation side that I do, is quite far behind. So it wasn't as if I was learning stuff. I was just implementing stuff all the time. So it was a bit boring. So I was like, no, this is my opportunity. This is my chance to find something I really want to do and I really love and all that kind of stuff. So I had spoken to her about that. I'm just saying, I'm a bit bored and I'm looking for something else and da-da-da. And she had mentioned you. And I'll tell you something that I haven't told you before, which was she mentioned it. And I was like, oh my God, this is the perfect opportunity. And I then thought to myself, I can't seem too desperate for her to contact you. So I tried really hard to not say anything again. Like I was playing it cool. Like, next time I spoke to her, I was like, how you doing? Da-da-da. And I wasn't going to mention it, that if she had spoken to you or not. But I was like so hoping she had. And so I think it was about a month or maybe even longer. And I hadn't heard anything. I thought, well, this opportunity's gone. And I was so annoyed, and I was like, should I mention to her again? But then I look like a desperate person. I'm not sure. And I was really going through that kind of like, don't seem so uncool. And then finally she said, my sister's interested and wants to chat. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so excited. So I was, it was very much an uncool situation on my side. Because
as you probably guessed, Kobi is not like a champion at playing it cool.
Excuse me. I was very fucking cool in high school.
Yeah, it sounds like you were actually. I think we would have been really good friends in high school for each other.
Most people just said I look like a bitch because I have resting bitch face.
Because that's what they say about cool people.
Yeah,
exactly. They do. You weren't cool.
When I first met them, I thought they were an effing asshole, but that's how I knew they were cool.
Yeah.
Back in our day, were the bitchy ones the cool ones?
Yeah, for women.
I got a really bad joke about this. That we have a very similar story to get close to Sarah's breasts, but anyway.
What?
Well, he didn't want to seem desperate, and then
Yeah.
tried to play it cool. Like,
exactly.
Well, then you two.
Or Sarah's just very easy. Whichever way that
hey.
No, there was. I can answer this one. There's nothing easy about it.
I will say though too. I had no idea that you were trying to play it so cool just to be
I was
my partner.
trying to pay it so cool.
But Helen,
I was
actually, we owe Helen everything really, because she's the one who, because she'd mentioned you, and at that point I think I was doing a trial with somebody else who was also in marketing. She was lovely and all that, but it just didn't work out. And then it got to a point where I was like really down in the dumps about it, and then I was going to give up on it. And then Helen texted me again. She's like, why haven't you spoken to Kobi yet? I was like, oh shit, yeah, that's right, I should. But honestly, in my head, like I just thought, she told me a little bit about you, so I was like, well, she's kind of hot shit. Like, why would she want to be involved with me? You know what I mean? Like, I just didn't believe it. I thought it would be too good to be true, and I was like, well, what have I got to lose? One more chat with one more person, why not? Like, truly, I was just at the end of like, I'm not going to talk about my kit to anybody anymore.
Ever
like
again.
I was done with it. And then I was like, oh, what's one more time, whatever. And then we got on the call, and I was like, why did that feel nice to talk to you about it? Like, I was just, it was really, really nice. And I'm so happy. So thank you, Helen. If you watch this episode,
thank you.
How funny would that be?
Yeah, because I was about to say I
think Helen watches these.
like, huh?
So I don't think Helen watches this.
Nobody watches it.
Nobody does.
The only people that watch it is Zach and his 15 different accounts.
I also pressure Connor to watch them as well.
I watch them. I like them. But like, I'm the sixth person, so like, there's 4 here, 2 extra accounts.
Exactly. I think it's really good. This might be the first one I missed, to be honest.
Because you want to hear yourself.
Oh, I don't want to hear myself. No. I hate myself because I sound like a bogan. I'm like, this guy again.
I can make you sound like a squeaky elf if that's what you like.
I also would enjoy that. Gonna blow my filter or something.
Connor, do you remember when I told you about the idea before I'd spoken to Sarah, and how like I was like, oh, I just really hope that Helen calls her and tells her.
I do recall it. You were very keen. I was just wondering how you're going to monetize breast milk. And I asked the question that I think everyone in Hong Kong asks Kobi at some point is, do you milk people?
I literally had the exact same dystopian view. I was like, are you aware that if you are ultra successful, this ends with women in factories?
Yeah. This is literally the plot of Mad Max Fury Road.
Yeah.
So, Kobi's going to end up in Morton Joe, spray painting people's teeth, going, kill them, protect the milk.
You're such a nerd.
And I'm going to be like the trophy husband on the side, just going, yeah, baby, you get them.
Honestly, with AI, I think we could make the trailer for this. It'd be brilliant.
Basically, just remake the same movie, but instead of going to a giant vat, they just go to like late lab bags.
Actually, this might be an appropriate time. I don't know if Sarah passed on the April Fools. I've been working on your marketing slogans for your April Fools nut cream, and shit. And we ended up. Oh, okay. Well, you drop it then. No.
I was going to say
this is not a man-to-man conversation. No.
Did I tell you, Connor?
This is a man-to-wife, friend-to-man conversation.
Yeah. That is how that maths. I tell you right now.
Did I tell you, Connor, about the? It was a kit where you use sperm instead of breast milk, and you turn it into cream. So it was going to be.
You have told me about that. For a second there, I wasn't sure if it was a joke or not. I mean, given how we've gotten where we are.
I mean, it depends on the audience, really.
I can see the confusion.
Yeah.
You give it to men for their Father's Day or something. And be like, we can make cream out of your sperm.
You got to give it to the wife, and you say he won't be the only one getting soft.
I mean, that is an excellent tagline when you think about it.
Or milked, really. Or milked. Now you can milk your man. Oh, it's just a lot of...
There's obviously a lot here to work with. But...
That's why they pay you. That was brilliant, Kobi. And he's done that instantaneously. It took me all day to come up with mine.
Well, no, because when we first talked about it, we were talking about, you get to milk your man instead of them, your child milking you. I think men would buy it for their wives, for sure.
As long as you don't have a child milking
any excuse for a hand job.
How freaking hilarious.
But
I might be the first manual that anybody reads, the instructions. Look, see,
instructions.
All I can see from this
Step
one is
4.
April 1 is going to be the joke. April 2 through 25 is like just a full page of, guys, this is a joke. We don't actually say this product.
Do not buy this for your wife. No, because Sarah sent me a video, I think it was you, Sarah, of someone just plastering their like partner's sperm all over their face as their facial.
I think it's called
It
bukkake.
was
It's corn.
aggressive. Huh? And there was so much of it. Like, I just was
they
like,
must have like
milked
All
it
right.
a few times.
This is not what I signed up for, and I have a personal brand that I'm trying to protect. No, I'm just.
Next question is there anything that has surprised you during our process of starting this business and launching and stuff? What has been the most surprising aspect about us, about the product, about...
Yeah, I reckon you go first, Sea-Dog.
I was trying to keep a straight face. So.
I'm now going to call him that for the rest of his life.
No, don't. I can't handle that kind of responsibility.
Honestly, it's a step up from what she normally goes. So, yeah.
Cunt knuckle.
She was called me cunt knuckle. I'm like, she's like, it's a term of affection. I'm like, no, where I come from. Like,
From an Australian, it is a term of affection.
I'm not sure that's how that works. Some surprises. Not a lot, to be honest. Mostly like how many boxes are in our house. Did not see that coming. Like, I'm getting a couple of bottles. I'm like, oh, yeah, there'll be a few boxes hanging around. Like, oh no, it's 2 pallets. Oh, okay. Because Hong Kong houses are just built to have pallet loads of things brought into them. That's fine. The pleasant surprise is how happy and involved Kobi's been since getting into this. She wasn't backwards in coming forward about not liking the corporate life, and was obviously running out of steam with the consulting in terms of not wanting to do the same thing over and over again, even for a new company, because it's very samey. Her happiest time, I think, was probably the former company when she was running that, busy, and yes, she was stressed and all the rest of it. But as a person, was very engaged and very happy. So the pleasant part of it is that she's super happy at the moment and enjoys what she does. So that makes it more pleasant around the place and more pleasant to be with.
Happy wife, happy life, right?
Exactly. Happy wife, happy life. My life's gotten better out of this.
Walking around, or
you just weren't as happy. No.
I mean,
You come home from work annoyed at people. Like, I'm working with this jackass. And you're like, yeah, I work with a few jackasses as well. But you come home from this and you have nothing but pleasant things to say about Sarah.
Oh,
unpleasant things to say about. Not one. She's quite a lot happier. I think this is. Yeah. It's a business she believes in and something she's really enjoying doing. So it's. I know she said like Kobi's worked in gambling, and she's not a big believer in that. But apparently, breast milk products, that's her niche.
All you have to do is put some boobs in your business, and then now you're happy.
Well, boobs have been a very large part of my life, being the fact they get stuck to my chest and they're ginormous. So it's only natural I worked in an area where boobs were a severe focus.
It was natural. It's never too late.
No, it is too late, Sarah. It is too late.
Yeah, we are not having a third child. All right.
Now, Zach, your answer to that, which I can't remember what the fucking question was now.
Yeah, could I get a question again?
Oh, the most surprising aspect of the business, from your perspective.
I think for me the most surprising. No. That is the Matrix. Number 4. It's going to be out. Or 5? What are we up to now? Anyway, we keep rebooting things, so I don't know.
The milking.
But, yeah, it really could be. Yeah, I think so. But yeah, the idea at the time for me was just that I still struggle to think how strange it's been to try and re-normalize people to a natural human product, you know? I think that's super weird to me. The being on the flip side, and I guess I can say it now because after a bit of research and osmosis through Sarah on the distilling this information, but just the push to get people on formula, you know, and what that did to get people off of a natural thing. And this isn't to speak to the people that can't do it. And I obviously feel really bad and super glad that we have the backups and the alternative solutions. But to be the major narrative, similar to in the States where the major narrative is let's get a C-section as quick as possible because it's about numbers, or whatever. I'm speaking totally off out of my expertise with that, but that's just a general notion that we had talking to some midwives out here. Well, midwives out here, they're like, if you go to this particular hospital, there's a lot of Americans, and the Americans really believe in C-section because, I don't know, numbers, cheaper. I don't know. Is it an efficiency thing? I have no idea. But there is a definite, like, we're faster to C-section people. And in that same token, to the struggle to push the breast milk thing when it's such a popular soap product.
Mm. Yeah.
So that math, I really struggle with that math even to this day. I don't understand why it's been such a. Yeah, it's not a hard thing to push, but it's like you have to go through an aha moment with somebody, which I think should be immediately obvious,
Mm.
Yeah.
No, you make a good point because as someone that didn't breastfeed, obviously, I had no idea about any of this stuff anyway. So, like, when I started investigating, I went, holy crap, do other people know this? And it turns out, yeah, they do. But one of the things, I mentioned it to the aunties that have play dates here in our house, and every last one of them was like, oh, yeah, we use breast milk for everything in the Philippines. Like, if someone's breastfeeding, they just pump it out to a whole bunch of people, like cuts, bruises, face care, skin care, someone's got a flu, like just everywhere. And then I also spoke to a friend who's in India, and she's exactly the same. She's like, you have a breastfeeding mom, you have medicine on tap type of thing, which I found fascinating. But we even said yesterday in the video that things like breastfeeding in public was so taboo for such a long time, even though, from a natural perspective, that's what you want. And so you kind of guilt people into not doing it versus, like, we've gone a bit of a switcheroo in terms of that side of things. I think we're now moving back towards it. But you also mentioned, like, not being able to breastfeed. And again, both my kids were formula fed because they were obviously adopted. And so there's a part of me that doesn't want to think, that they missed out on such a vital part of, their upbringing. And I don't necessarily think they did. And there's other ways we can, counteract some of that stuff. Just breast milk, I think, is just so amazing based now on what I've read. But I never knew it beforehand. It's not common knowledge, I guess, to someone that isn't going to do it.